Heartwarming secret revealed at the altar. Millionaire calls off wedding with cleaner, an incredible turn of events. As Jack Reynolds stood at the altar, the warm sunlight streamed through the stained glass, casting radiant patterns on the polished floor. The crowd, decked out in their Sunday best, buzzed with excitement. Apprehension danced in Jack's chest, and just then, he felt at the eyes of his family, filled with expectation, heavy as a storm cloud. His heart raced, knowing he was just about to marry Emily, a woman whose unwavering resilience enchanted him but also terrified him. With each step toward the altar, childhood memories flooded his mind. He recalled the weight of his parents' dreams, the selfish work ethic they instilled in him, the treasures of wealth piled on his shoulders since he was a kid. And here he was, about to unite with Emily, a kind-hearted cleaner who had spent her days juggling 2 jobs just to care for her ailing mother. As the townsfolk smiled and whispered about this storybook romance, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that lurking beneath their joy was a different kind of scrutiny, one that would peel away the charm of their union in unforgiving light. Hours before, in a flicker of curiosity, Jack had discovered an old journal buried in the attic. Each page revealed Emily's heart-wrenching story, her sleepless nights, her sobs after long hours of work, the dreams crushed beneath a layer of duty to her family. As he read about Emily's struggles, the mixed emotions churned in him. She was not just a simple girl, but a warrior in her own right. The knowledge left him breathless. And now, as he stood at the altar, it all welled up inside him like a tidal wave. What had he learned about love? About sacrifice? His chest tightened as Emily glanced up, her eyes sparkling with trust and sweetness, completely unaware of the tumult within him. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let us continue. Jack's heart pounded furiously as he looked down the altar at the beautiful woman waiting for him. The weight of his family's legacy pressed down, urging him to comply with their expectations to marry someone who came from wealth, someone they approved of. But he could feel it in the core of his being. He took a breath, stepping back. "Emily," he finally said, his voice steady, but quaking with vulnerability, "you deserve more than I can offer if I choose this life based on what others expect of me." Gasps ricocheted off the walls, the tension thick as a winter blizzard, swirling in a mix of disbelief and confusion. As he stood there, the crowd was frozen. Guests' faces shifted from joy to shock, their whispers crawling like fireflies in the twilight. Jack's gaze locked with Emily's, tears glimmering in her eyes. She stood still, her world shaken. In that moment, clarity mixed with the ache of uncertainty as Jack realized what lay ahead. Would he choose to honor her spirited journey or succumb to the suffocating expectations of his family? Tears glistened on Emily's cheeks as Jack stepped further back from the altar, his choice echoing through the sacred space. Would they survive the chaos to find their way back to love, or was this the end of their story before it had even begun? Jack's heart was a thundering drum, echoing in the stillness of the church. The weight of the moment bore down on him, and every minute felt like an eternity. He felt exposed, standing under a spotlight of judgment. This was supposed to be a day of joy, yet his declaration had spun everything into chaos. Emily blinked, her expression shifting from disbelief to anguish. Jack could see the flicker of hope dimming in her eyes, replaced by confusion and hurt. His stomach knotted as he took another step back, wishing he could snatch the words back, every one of them. But deep inside, he knew that honesty was the only way forward. "Jack," she whispered, her voice crackling like thin ice. She took a tentative step toward him, desperation spilling from her eyes. The crowd began to murmur, their collective energy shifting toward this unexpected revelation. "Emily," Jack struggled to find the words that would soothe the pain he felt causing her. "I want to be with you, but I can't pretend that my life doesn't come with strings attached. I can't let you bear a burden that was never yours to carry." The crowd leaned in, curiosity merging with concern. As whispers crescendoed, Jack felt exposed, a fragile shell filled with contradiction. He had $1 million future ahead of him, but the richest treasure lay in the woman standing before him. Are you saying you don't want me? That I'm just a duty? Emily's voice trembled, the strength she'd shown in their journey cracking like glass. It hit him harder than he expected. She was more than an obligation. She was the laughter that filled his days, the warmth that melted away the corporate chill. No, I'm saying that I can't value you less than what you truly deserve. I want you to stand beside me because it's what you want, not because you feel you have to. His words poured out, earnest and raw. He searched her face for understanding, but all he saw was sorrow, her dreams face down in the dust. Jack, she murmured, this is a lot. You're asking me to believe in something when I see you halfway to the door. He hadn't realized until that moment how much he mirrored her confusions, justifying his actions with noble intentions. His family had shaped him into this polished figure, and Emily was a gentle storm threatening to shatter his facade. But could they build something real together? A jolt rocked the crowd as whispers turned into expressions of discontent and horror. Jack's parents shifted uncomfortably in their seats, the weight of their expectations pressed against reality. I don't want to disappoint them, but Emily, he trailed off, grappling with the dimensions of love, sacrifice, and tradition. He could almost taste the tension thick in the air, drifting like smoke between them. They won't understand, will they? She whispered, her gaze searching his face. Hope still flickered, but it looked ugly next to fear. But Jack, what if they were right? What if we don't belong together? The gravity of her words settled heavy in his chest. He wanted nothing more than to show her she was worth every risk and every fight. A fire ignited within him. That's where you're wrong, Emily. He reached out, his fingers brushing against hers. You are stronger than them. We'll face this, side by side. Together. The moment hung suspended, teetering on the edge of clarity and despair. Jack could feel the world around them collapsing into tension, a collision of expectations, love, and identity. As the two stood there, hand in hand, the crowd's reaction shifted. Some whispered words of encouragement. Others still wrestled with disappointment. Just then, another voice rose above the rest, cutting through the din like a lighthouse beam in a storm. A love like that is worth fighting for. Jack and Emily exchanged glances, a new determination igniting in their eyes. Octavia, Emily's best friend, emerged from the crowd, her presence steady as a rock. Will you fight for it? Octavia asked, looking at both of them, her gaze fierce and honest. And suddenly, the question lingered, echoing in Jack's mind like a prayer. Would they have the courage to face whatever storm lay ahead together? Jack's breath caught in his throat as he absorbed Octavia's words. The crowd buzzed with a mix of shock and curiosity, tension ebbing and flowing like waves crashing against the shore. Emily's eyes widened, searching his for reassurance, for understanding. Will you fight for it, Jack? She echoed Octavia, her voice steadier this time, yet trembling at the edges. Do you want this? Do you want me? He hesitated, feeling the weight of her gaze, the desperation infused in her voice. Yes, he replied, the word barely a whisper. But it's not that simple. There's so much at stake. Emily's face fell, disappointment washing away the flicker of hope he saw moments ago. Resentment flared in her eyes, and he felt like he was drowning in her hurt. The crowd shifted again, expressions of sympathy and disdain echoing throughout the church. Jack, Octavia called, breaking the silence that wrapped around them like a tight coil. Think of what you really want. Your future is full of possibilities, but if you walk away now, you might lose everything that really matters. Everything matters? Jack echoed incredulously, glancing around at family members whose faces were twisted in disbelief. You know my family. They expect me to follow this path, to fulfill their dreams. Your life doesn't belong to them. Emily shot back, her voice a mix of pain and anger. It belongs to you. You have the chance to take control of it. Silence fell, thick and heavy. The air was charged with an electricity only love and betrayal could create. Jack could feel his heart pounding in his chest, clamoring for attention. He shifted his focus to Emily, the woman who made him laugh until his sides hurt, who got him to explore life beyond corporate meetings and boardrooms. I don't want to disappoint you or your dreams, he admitted, his voice cracking slightly. All my life, I've been told what's expected. How can I fight against something that runs so deep? You fight by choosing your own happiness, she replied, taking a step forward, a fire igniting in her eyes. The kind of happiness that lives and breathes. Not just financial success, but the kind that fills your soul. Jack's heart twitched. Could she be right? Could he pursue a life stripped of the expectations placed upon him? The moments they shared flooded his memory. Laughter on lazy Saturday mornings, quiet hugs that wrapped around unspoken fears, a love that blossomed in unexpected places. I want to be with you, he finally said, passion lining his voice. I want to create a future together, free from what others expect of us. But I don't know how. Take the first step, Emily urged, her voice softening. We can figure it out together. But as their hands intertwined, he felt the world around him shift once again. The murmurings from the crowd grew louder, mixed with an air of disbelief. Jack could spot his mother, her face a tapestry of disappointment, shock transforming to anger. Jack, don't, she shouted, cutting through the haze. You'll ruin everything we built. The confrontation was like ice water on his soul. The finality of her words pierced through him, and he felt his heart teeter. Was he prepared to lose everything he'd known for a chance at something genuine? The moment tensed once more, a pregnant pause hanging between the three of them. Will you choose love, or will you choose loyalty to a future they've designed for you? Octavia's words echoed in the depths of his mind. Jack looked into Emily's eyes, the decision looming larger than any contract he'd ever signed. He felt the walls close in around him, the pull of family loyalty and tradition battling his longing for freedom, the freedom to love. As he stood there, breathless, he wondered, could he really break free, or was he just setting himself up for heartbreak? The answer felt like a secret, hidden in the murky waters of his heart, waiting to be uncovered. And as he battled rising uncertainty, it was clear the choice he faced would change everything. Would he have the strength to embrace it? Jack's knuckles tightened around Emily's hand, as if anchoring him in a tempest. The church felt like a distant world now, each face in the crowd morphing into a blur of expectations and judgments. His mother's warning echoed in his mind, each word like a stone sinking to the bottom of his resolve. Jack, Emily pleaded, her voice barely breaking through the storm of his thoughts. You have to make a choice. This is about you, not them. Her eyes glimmered with unshed tears, and in that moment, he saw more than just a love that was freely given. He saw a future, one that he could shape. The prospect ignited something deep within him. Was it courage? Hope? He couldn't tell, but it burned brighter than the fear that had kept him shackled for so long. Will you walk away? Octavia's voice broke in, challenging him again. Or will you fight? Jack felt the tremor in his voice. I don't know if I can just leave it all behind. They groomed me for this. They've sacrificed so much. Jack, Emily urged again, stepping closer. You don't owe them your life. This isn't a sacrifice, it's imprisonment. Imprisonment. The words settled between them, wrapping around Jack's heart like a vice. He thought of late nights spent toiling over spreadsheets, meetings that drained the life out of him, and an endless parade of expectations. All this for what? A life devoid of passion, a hollow triumph? Listen, Jack, Emily said, and her voice softened as she cupped his face, grounding him. Life is too short to live it for someone else. You matter. Your happiness matters. Her words coursed through him like a rush of adrenaline, igniting memories of spontaneity, the road trip that had no destination, the nights spent talking under the stars, sharing dreams of what could be without fear of judgment. With Emily, he felt alive. I want to choose happiness, he finally admitted, his heart racing. But what will that mean for them? For you and me? Emily held on tighter, her grip a lifeline. It means we build something real. Whatever love is meant to be, we'll figure it out. The words settled deep in his chest, a mix of freedom and fear. Perhaps it was time. Time to unshackle himself from a future that wasn't truly his. Suddenly, his mother took a step forward, her expression fierce and pleading. Jack, please. You're making a mistake. Think of everything we have, Mom. Is it everything when it means giving up who I am? He shot back, feeling raw and exposed. I can't live your dream anymore. Gasps rippled through the crowd, and Jack could see the shock etched on countless faces. But within that collective gasp, He sensed the stirring of something else, a slow shift toward acceptance, even support. Jack. Octavia broke through again, her tone a mixture of firmness and empathy. What do you want to say to her? The question hung in the air. Jack took a deep breath and turned to Emily, the weight of 1,000 unspoken feelings surging to the surface. I love you, Emily. I've always loved you. You are my choice. As he said the words, it felt as if a weight lifted. It was terrifying yet exhilarating, like stepping off a cliff into an unknown but promising future. His mother's face darkened, but the moment felt right. Suddenly, he felt a wave of warmth spread through him as the crowd's murmurs shifted, hints of approval and understanding beginning to flutter. But just as he felt solid ground beneath his feet, Emily's expression shifted, confusion replacing the joy in her eyes. Jack, what about everything your past? I'm ready to make something new, he promised, leaving uncertainties behind. But as he turned toward his mother, the mixture of fear and determination in her gaze warned him that the fight wasn't over. Could he truly reconcile his past with his desire for love? Just then, a voice called from the back of the church. Wait, we need to talk about this. Jack's heart raced. Who could it be? What could they possibly want to unravel now? He felt the eyes of the crowd shift toward the interruption, uncertainty cascading over him once again. And just when he thought he was ready to embrace his decision, it seemed fate had one more twist to throw at him. Would he stand firm in his choice, or would doubt creep back in, threatening to untangle the threads of hope he had just begun to weave? Jack turned slowly, scanning the back of the church, where a figure broke free from the shadows. It was Derek, his childhood friend, a loyal companion who had grown apart from him in recent years, but who clawed his way back into Jack's life with every drama. Derek was usually the life of the party, always cracking jokes and keeping the mood light. Today, however, there was a heaviness in him, a gravity that made Jack's heart thud with concern. Derek, what are you doing here? Jack's voice shook, a mixture of confusion and mounting dread. I couldn't just watch, Derek replied, weaving his way through the crowd, eyes fixed on Jack. You need to hear this. It's important. Important? Emily echoed, eyes darting between the two men, uncertainty flooding her features. What could possibly outweigh what is happening right now? Just let him speak, Jack urged, feeling immense pressure build in his chest. The crowd held its breath, anticipation hanging in the air like a coiled spring. Derek paused, stealing glances at Jack's mother, who stood nearby with a look of disdain plastered across her face. Jack's heart sank. This wasn't how he wanted to celebrate his choice. They were supposed to be celebrating love, yet here they were, caught in the crossfire of old secrets. Okay, Derek said, his voice intensifying. I'm not trying to sabotage anything, but what I have to say is the truth. Jack, you need to know. Get to it, Jack demanded, desperately wanting to put an end to the building tension. Derek hesitated, words laced with reluctance. A few months ago, I ran into someone, the one person who could help you understand why you felt so lost all this time. I didn't want to get involved, but now I think it's crucial you hear this. Who? Jack's brow furrowed, suspicion rising. Your father, Derek revealed, each word cutting through the air like a knife. He is not who you think he is. Gasps echoed around the space, and Jack could feel the color drain from his face. What do you mean? I wasn't sure whether to say anything. He made me promise, Derek continued, taking a deep breath, weighing the conviction in his heart. But he wants to talk to you. He has been following your life from afar. He is proud of you, Jack. I think he just wants to be there for you if you'll let him. Let him? Jack felt the words reverberate in his mind. You think I want anything to do with him after what he did? After he left? Derek took a step closer. I know, but he has changed. He has been trying to make amends in his own way. Can't you see how this all connects? You think you have to choose between Emily and that life. But what if stepping into the light means confronting your past? Jack's mind raced, thoughts swirling like a tornado. Memories of his father flashed before him, melancholy moments tinged with betrayal, then faded memories of who he once was, a fun-loving dad, always rooting for his son. Emily squeezed Jack's hand tighter, her decision to stay by his side evident in her unwavering gaze. Jack, you don't have to do this alone. If this is what you need to finally start over, I'll be right next to you, whatever you decide. The murmurs of the crowd faded into white noise, while the heart in his chest thundered louder than any sound. But could he handle it? The remnants of a past so full of pain and shame mixing with the hope of a different future? A familiar sense of urgency began to rise in him, a truth that resonated for the first time. I need to know. I have to face this, my father. Just as he steeled himself for answering that call, the weight of the crowd immobilized him, and he felt a ripple of eyes assessing his every decision. One wrong move could shatter the fragile happiness he'd just begun to embrace. But as Jack's gaze swept back to Emily, he understood just how intertwined their fates became. Would this new path lead to forgiveness or further heartbreak? Let us go, Derek. Where do we find him? As Jack stepped forward, the path to the truth loomed ahead. But before he could take another step, a thunderous crash echoed outside the church doors. People turned, their reactions morphing from bewilderment to pure dread. Something's happening. A voice rang out, piercing the air. Jack felt a shiver run down his spine. What else was about to unravel in a moment meant to be filled with love? Could everything fall apart before he got the chance to mend his past? Jack felt an electric tension ripple through the crowd that stood frozen in shock, eyes glued to the church doors. What could possibly be happening out there? He strained to hear, pulse racing, a sense of purpose battling against a heavy doubt in his gut. Stay close, he whispered to Emily, who nodded, her eyes wide but resolute. Derek, leading the way, pushed through the crowd, and Jack and Emily followed behind, hearts thumping in sync as they neared the doors. The chaotic noise from outside grew louder. Voices shouted and gasped. The clinks of metal and the thump of heavy feet echoed like a gathering storm. Jack pushed open the door, and the scene before him was surreal. A car had crashed into the side of the church, its front crumpled and smoking, tires screeching on pavement. People had gathered, some pointing in horror, others rushing to help. Jack could hardly believe it. This was supposed to be his wedding day, not a scene from a disaster movie. Let me through, Derek shouted, pushing forward. Jack hesitated, his feet glued to the ground as he scanned for signs of anyone hurt. Jack, we need to get out of the way, Emily urged, pulling him gently. Her voice snapped him back, tearing him from the shock. She was right. The last thing they needed was to be caught in a panicking crowd. Derek, Jack shouted. What do we do? Derek's focus remained fixed, shouting at a man trying to pull an elderly woman from the wreckage. Fear mixed with resolve filled the air as they all held their breaths, waiting to see if anyone was trapped inside the vehicle. Moments passed that felt like eternity, but finally, a series of relieved breaths coursed through the crowd. Derek stepped back, the elderly woman cradled under one arm as they brought her to safety. She looked disoriented but unharmed, a whimper escaping from her dry lips. Jack's heart ached with relief mixed with disbelief. This day was spiraling out of control. But just then, a deep voice cut through the murmur of horror. Jack! He turned, recognizing the urgency in the tone. His father stepped toward him, dirty and disheveled, as if he'd just run a marathon. The chaos around them dimmed as Jack processed this figure, the same man he'd been aiming to confront, bursting through the wreckage of his own mistakes. What are you doing here? Jack asked sharply, anger and betrayal bubbling up again. You shouldn't even be. I came. His father interrupted, breathing heavily, his eyes fierce yet soft. I heard. I had to. There was no choice. You need to know the truth, and I got here as fast as I could. Jack felt trapped between the scenes unfolding before him: the car crash, Derek's heroism, and the confrontation with the man who had left him so many years ago. The world spun, yet stopped all at once. What truth? He demanded, forehead creased with every conflicting feeling. Your mother. No, listen. His father's voice cut with urgency. She's not the only one who has secrets, and she knew I was coming. You deserve to hear them, especially today of all days. Jack's heart flipped yet again, while around him, churchgoers still murmured, anxiety laced with the hope for clarity. Emily stepped back, anxiously looking at Jack, clearly shot out of her comfort zone. Help those people first, Jack urged Derek. I'm going to listen. But deep down, he was terrified of what he might uncover about the legacy left before him. As his father stepped closer, gravity anchoring them in place, Jack couldn't help but wonder, could the pieces of his life finally fit? And if they did, what new threads of truth awaited to unravel? With uncertainty gnawing at him, Jack inhaled sharply. Could this be the moment that made or broke him? How could one day filled with love turn into this? As his father opened his mouth, Jack braced himself for a revelation that could change everything. Would the truth heal them, or would it destroy the fragile bond they had left? Jack, his father's voice was barely a whisper above the chaos. The air was thick, heavy with anxiety and an unspoken tension that wrapped around Jack like a vice. He felt the world narrowing, just the two of them standing on that crumbling precipice of truth. What about Mom? Jack's voice shook, both from anger and a flicker of hope. What secrets? Not here. His father cast a glance around, as if the crowd itself could eavesdrop. Let us find somewhere quieter. The surroundings melted away as Jack's focus narrowed to the man in front of him. He had spent years wondering why his father had chosen to vanish, leaving a gaping hole in their family. Now, with the wreckage behind them and the smell of burnt rubber wafting through the air, Jack felt a disorienting mix of dread and curiosity. Where? Jack demanded, his tone sharper than he intended. He could still hear the commotion as people rushed to help the victims. He felt Derek's presence in the background, resolute and focused on the chaos, urging his friend to stay afloat amid it all. Just follow me, his father replied. Without waiting for a response, he turned, and Jack hesitated only for a moment before instinctively following. They pushed through the throngs of gathered bodies, the din a blend of sirens, shouts, and frightened murmurs. The church's once sacred entryway had turned into a stage for uncertainty and fear. Jack and his father eventually moved toward a small alcove, where the faded stone walls offered a brief shelter from the turmoil. Okay, we're out of sight. Now tell me, Jack pressed, his heart pounding hard in his chest. His father looked away, drawing in a deep breath. It's about your mother's past, Jack. There are things she's kept from you from both of us. Jack's mind spun. What could be so important that she couldn't tell me? Is it about you leaving? Did she force you out? No, not like that. His father exclaimed. It's complicated, and it involves people you've never met, but who are tied to our family. People who could change everything you think you know. Your mother and I both kept it from you to protect you. The words crashed into Jack like a physical blow. Protect me from what? He whispered, feeling bile rise in his throat. Every instinct told him to turn back, to shut down the conversation, but his curiosity chained him in place. Jack, before marrying your mother, I had a life, a family. Family? Jack interrupted, rage coursing through him. So you mean to tell me I have more relatives out there? People you never bothered to mention? After everything you've put me through, after abandoning me? Listen, his father pleaded, voice cracking. I was trying to handle my own demons. I never wanted to hurt you or your mother. But today, after hearing about the accident, I knew I had to come clean. It's not just about lying to you. It's about a legacy that could impact your whole life. Veins throbbed in Jack's temples as he rubbed a hand over his face, absorbing the weight of this revelation. It felt too heavy for one day, too much of a burden to bear alongside any thoughts of wedding vows. What legacy? What is it about Mom? You deserve to hear it from her, his father said quietly, eyes pleading. But if you're willing, I can give you the name of someone who can explain it all. Someone who knows the truth. Jack swallowed hard, emotions swirling in a turbulent storm inside him. A name? It felt surreal. The path before him forked in ways he couldn't yet comprehend. His father nodded solemnly, the gravity of their shared moment sinking deeper. Yes, but it's up to you, Jack. You can keep looking at the past, or face this now. Decide what you want to know. The sound of sirens grew louder, cutting through the fragile silence hanging over them. Jack couldn't escape the looming dread intermingled with the flicker of hope, pushing him to confront the unknown path laid out before him on what was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. Tell me everything, Jack finally whispered, determination leaching into every syllable. But as his father opened his mouth once more, Jack felt the ground shift beneath him once again. Was he ready for the truths that could change everything? The air around him hummed with anticipation as the past began to unfurl its tangled web, and he braced himself for what came next. Would this revelation lead him to peace or further chaos? In the murmur of the bustling church, Jack could feel his heart racing. It thudded in his chest, each beat echoing the uncertainty of what lay ahead. His father took a deep breath, the weight of years hanging in the air between them. Jack, this isn't just about family. It's about a choice, one that could change everything. He began, words measured and cautious. The firm lines on his father's face softened, revealing a flicker of vulnerability. Your mother didn't just marry me. She was running from something or someone. And that someone is linked to a legacy of power and wealth that we both never wanted to touch. Jack's mind reeled. A legacy? Power? It felt like a fantasy, an idea lifted from a movie rather than his own life. What do you mean? Why would Mom hide something like that? His voice rose, a mixture of anger and confusion surging through him. His father looked away, almost ashamed, and the flicker of guilt danced in his eyes. Because she wanted to protect you. She thought the past would only bring pain. But it appears it hasn't stayed buried. You mentioned her name today. I don't think you grasp how significant that is. Silence settled around them, heavier than ever. The distant wails of sirens felt like a soundtrack to the turmoil inside Jack's heart. What if I don't want anything to do with this legacy of hers? The words stung on the way out. But the truth was, Jack felt trapped. You can't run from the truth, Jack. It has a way of catching up. And these people, whoever they are, could be watching. Your mother has her reasons for wanting to keep you away, but I made my choices. Now it's a new path for you to tread. Jack muttered under his breath. He wanted to scream, to release the pent-up frustration festering inside him. So what? I just call up this person you mentioned, and what? Accept that everything I thought I knew is a lie. No, his father urged, gripping Jack's shoulder, seeking to steady the storm brewing. It's about confronting what has been kept from you. Knowledge gives you power, son. The crowd outside didn't seem to fade, the chaos just beyond their alcove only amplifying Jack's inner conflict. He could feel the emotional pull, hope battling against doubt, yearning against resentment. Who do I even call? Jack asked, exasperated. What's their name? His father hesitated again. I'll write it down. But remember, you have to be ready for anything. This person can unravel everything. And when it does, that's on you to decide. Jack felt the words like ice in his veins. He had never felt ready for anything quite like this. And what about you? What about Mom? I can't be a part of this for you, Jack. I wish I could protect you from this, but I can't. It's up to you. Was this really what he wanted? The chance to chase after secrets that might upend everything he knew? Deep within, another voice whispered back. How often had he wished for answers? How often had he felt the weight of his father's absence, the shadows of unanswered questions stretching across his life? Okay, Jack breathed, tentative, feeling the gravity of the moment settle. I want to know. I'll take that name. His father pulled out a small piece of paper, trembling fingers writing under the pressure. But be mindful, Jack. History doesn't sleep. It waits until you're ready to confront it. Jack watched as he tore the paper away, fighting through a wave of conflicting emotions. As he pocketed it, a sudden crash echoed from the main hall, a window shattering amidst the noise. What was that? Jack's heart raced once more, the urgency in the air turning palpable. He turned his father's way only to see a look of alarm shadowing his face. Stay close, his father shouted, pulling Jack tightly to him. The chaos around them grew more frantic, and Jack felt a chill grip his spine. What else was lurking just out of sight, waiting to be unveiled as they stood on the edge of an unknown abyss? And what about his mother's legacy, the truths that lay buried beneath the surface of their lives? As the growing tension outside pressed on him, he couldn't ignore the sense that change was rushing toward him. Would that legacy be a bridge to understanding or a wall of heartbreak? The paper in his pocket felt like a bomb ticking down to the moment it would explode, sending everything he thought he knew into chaos. Let us go, Jack shouted back, bracing himself for whatever lay ahead. But as they stepped into the fray once more, Jack knew in his gut that this was only the beginning. Would the truths he sought lead to revelation, or would they ignite more turmoil than he ever anticipated? The real test was about to begin. Jack couldn't shake off the feeling that danger lurked in the chaos outside. His father's grip on his shoulder felt like a lifeline, grounding him as he prepared to move forward into the unknown. They edged toward the church's main hall, the sounds of shattering glass and frantic footsteps rushing towards them, pulling at the edge of his sanity. Stay alert, his father warned, tension radiating from him. The once serene atmosphere of the church had morphed into something unrecognizable, transforming the hallowed ground into a battlefield of uncertainty. Jack's heart pounded in rhythm with the commotion filling the space around them. This was all too much, too quickly. Do you think it's them? Jack blurted out, his voice low but urgent. Thoughts of what could be hidden in the shadows of his mother's past filled his mind. People from that legacy she had tried so hard to distance them from. His father nodded slowly, eyes flicking around, as if scanning for an unseen threat. Yes, if they're here, it means they have their sights set on you. The weight of his words struck Jack harder than the crash of glass barely minutes before. He felt a chill run down his spine. This wasn't just about unraveling his mother's past. It felt like he was caught in a game he didn't understand. What do we do? Jack asked, his voice rising with panic he couldn't suppress. Was confronting the truth worth this chaos? Get to the back exit, his father replied, steering Jack towards a side door that led to a dimly lit hallway. We need to get you out of here. I'll figure out what's going on. Jack hesitated, the urge to turn back scratching at him. But what if they know we're leaving? What if it's not safe? We don't have time to overthink this. You need to trust me, his father said, urgency threading through his tone. Jack could see determination in his eyes, a brave mask that barely concealed fear and regret. In that moment, it dawned on him. His father was just as lost amidst the turmoil they found themselves in. As they slipped through the narrow door, Jack caught a glimpse of the main hall. Figures were pushing through the crowd, their intentions unclear, faces masked in shadows. His thoughts raced back to the paper in his pocket, the name that could unlock everything. Could it also mean sealing his fate? Do you think Mom knows about this? Jack's voice was barely a whisper as they hurried down the corridor, each step echoing heavy doubts. I don't know, his father sighed. But I worry that if she does, she has kept it to protect you. This was always about keeping you safe. Safe from what? Jack demanded, frustration hardening his voice. The anger rose again, bubbling just beneath the surface, wanting to erupt. Safe from the truth? From her own past? He felt like a puppet, strings pulled by an unseen hand. And the more he learned, the more he discovered how little control he truly had. Why not just tell me everything? I can handle it. I wish it were that simple, his father snapped, then softened. But some truths come with a cost. A cost I never wanted you to pay. Just then, a loud crash echoed behind them, followed by screams from the hall. Jack's heart raced, fear wrapping its icy fingers around him. The reality of the situation hit him hard, there was no turning back. They burst through the exit, the fresh air hitting Jack's face like a slap. He felt alive, but also exposed, vulnerable. Where do we go now? His father's gaze darted around, scanning for safety. We need to find a place to regroup, to figure out our next move. We can't let them get to you. Jack looked at his father, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within him. Anger, confusion, and an undeniable urge for answers battled for control. How far could he go to uncover the truth? What would happen if he did? In the distance, an unmistakable figure appeared. A woman stood at the edge of the church grounds, her silhouette hauntingly familiar. Jack's heart dropped. Mom, he whispered, disbelief coursing through him. Jack, no? His father barked, pulling him back just as Jack took a step forward. But it was too late. The moment was set in motion. Would finally confronting his mother lead to closure, or another layer of secrets unraveling the very fabric of their lives? Jack thought he was ready, but as fear poured from his father's voice, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was standing on a precipice, looking down into uncertainty. What would she say when they finally came face to face? Would the truth she held be a lifeline or a chain in the depths of the legacy she desperately tried to keep hidden? Jack's heart raced as he stood at the edge of the church grounds, frozen in disbelief. His mother stood there visibly shaken, yet unmistakably fierce. She was always a rock, but today, cracks flecked her armor as the burden of secrets pressed down hard. Mom, I need to talk to you, Jack shouted, desperate to bridge the years filled with hurt and misunderstanding. He could feel his father's grip tighten on his arm, a silent plea for him to hold back. Jack, please, his father warned again, but Jack yanked free, determination blazing in his chest. As he crossed the green grass, memories flooded back: the Sunday dinners, the laughter, the way she once made everything feel okay. Yet beneath those gleaming memories, there lingered a tricky shadow of things left unsaid. Why didn't you tell me? Jack called as he reached her, voice rising, emotions spilling over like a boiling pot. All this time, I deserve to know. She looked at him, eyes glistening with a mix of sadness and defiance. You think I wanted to shield you from the truth? Look around, Jack. It's not just us anymore. This legacy isn't some fairy tale. It's dangerous. Jack paused, breathing heavily, letting her words sink in. Dangerous? But hiding the truth only makes it worse. Jack, she said softly, I did it to protect you from people who would do anything to keep power. My past intertwines with shadows that could threaten our family. The air thickened with tension, but Jack caught a glimmer of regret in her eyes. And now it's yours to face. This isn't just about my mistakes. This is about you. You have to decide if you want to engage with a world we tried to leave behind. And what if I do? He shot back, anger sparking inside him. What if I want to understand where I come from? Who I'm supposed to be? His mother sighed heavily, the weight of her choices crashing down around them. Jack, doing this exposes us. Exposes you. What will it take for you to see that there are bigger forces at play? I don't care about the consequences, he declared, frustration bubbling. I care about the truth. I'm tired of living in a shadow. I want to embrace what's out there, and I want you to be part of it with me. As silence settled like a heavy fog, Jack could see the little boy he had been reflected back in her eyes. Would she understand that he was no longer that unsure child? He was an adult, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Just then, Derek stepped forward, having finished directing the chaos behind them, his face lit with resolve. Jack, you can't do this alone. If confronting your mother is just the beginning, we need your mother's help to keep you safe. Whatever truth comes, we face it together. Jack turned back to his mom. This is our chance. But I need you beside me. I need your guidance. She hesitated, vulnerability flickering across her features. For the first time, he saw fear, not of him of what she knew awaited them. But this moment was special. It had the potential to shift everything, the power to mend a broken family. Okay, she finally said, her voice cracking. Let us face the truth together. We'll confront whatever it is that's lurking, and we will not let it rip us apart. We fight. Jack felt a rush of relief wash over him, almost dizzying in its intensity. Behind them, the world buzzed with noise, but all other sounds faded away. Hope swelled within him as they united a family on the cusp of reclaiming their narrative. With determination in their hearts and hands clasped tight, they would combat the weight of their past. Jack couldn't predict the future, but he knew one thing. They would rise together as they turned to head toward the chaos of the crowd. Jack felt Emily's hand slip into his. The warmth of her touch anchored him, feeding into his resolve. We'll face this together, Jack vowed to her, looking deeply into her trusting eyes. We will, she replied, her voice a soothing melody amidst the storm. The last remnants of doubt faded. It was a new beginning, and as they stepped forward into the unfolding chapters of their lives, Jack felt strong, ready to embrace whatever awaited him. The truth was out there, and it was time to shine light into the shadows, to find power in their connection, and to choose love over fear. The echoes of uncertainty dissipated, confidence bloomed, and together they strode into the future, the legacy of their hearts beating fiercely, side by side. Now is the time to join the journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Please, leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this. Ending your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let us keep the momentum going.